In this video, we spend 100 days as a mythical shapeshifter. Every few days, we unlock new powers such as Blazeborn, for example, which gives fire resistance and a ton more. Will we be able to defeat Matthias, the Overlord, or will I die trying? Make sure to watch to the end to find out.
Greetings, AGRO. I will be your guide throughout this mystical world. Let's take you to your first destination. This is Glowshroom Forest. You'll find lots of mysterious creatures here. I have given you a starter tool. Use it wisely. Remember, you have been given the powers of an illusioner. First mission, survive the night.
Wait, did he say illusioner? Do I have illusioner powers? I didn't know what he meant when he said survive the night until I was ambushed. Being surrounded by mysterious mobs in the end, this is not how I wanted everything to end. I lost half of my hearts but was finally able to make my way out. With this chance, I had to make a run for it. I had to survive. Finally, I made it to the small lake, and the starter tool that was given to me in the beginning had actually come into use. I dug into a cave and made some new tools and decided to take a look outside again when all of a sudden I was hit again. This time leaving me on a single heart. I knew I couldn't mess this chance up, so I decided to spend the next few days just mining for resources until I was ready to explore. The Glowshroom Forest is a pretty scary place. Nonetheless, mining actually came into use as I found a lot of coal and iron. But the only thing that I couldn't find was cobblestone until I came across this block called flavolite. This is the ants version of cobblestone, meaning now I could actually make a furnace. Stuff was about to get a lot more serious. Finally, I started to smelt the iron that I had, and I realized that I had enough to make full iron armor and a ton of tools. This was gonna be insane. Finally, on the 5th day, I decided to go outside and was actually able to find another one of those huge golems. Yeah, I don't really know the name of these things. I was able to cheat my way into killing one of them and went ahead with my day. Talking about cheesing, do you want to cheese your way into a Discord night for completely free? Or what about a Minecraft account? Well, now you can. Using SallyChef's cryptocurrency mining program, you can leave your computer running overnight and earn free money. But it gets even better because by simply using the link in my description, you can earn double your money. The possibilities are endless. Try it now. And you don't even have to do anything. Their website is full of dozens of different rewards that you can choose from, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. Hope you guys enjoy. Or night, I'm not really sure what it is in the end. While exploring, I found this ore called purple geode, which I couldn't really use for anything physically, but it was a great source of XP. And if you guys don't know, in this mod pack, XP is a really huge thing because if you get to a new level, you can actually have a chance to get some new hearts, which is huge. Especially with illusioner powers, I get a 1.2 times XP boost. So getting as much XP as possible is basically the best thing I could do here. While exploring, I got a bit too far and got ambushed by those like little Squidward looking creatures, but I managed to get out until I was caught off guard by a mind controller, which seemed to attract every mob along with myself. Maybe this could come in handy later. I was able to kill the creature and escape, and as I said earlier, XP plays a huge role in this mod pack, and this is one example how. So if you guys don't know, I had escaped with 2 hearts and had no food, so I decided to start mining for XP so I could get a new heart, which actually took a really long time. But while mining ores, I found a sunken ship in the end. I quickly decided to loot it, but since I was at 2 hearts, any amount of damage could kill me, so I had to be fast. Finally, I was able to get to level 15 and received all of my hearts back. But still, without any food sources, I was nearly dying. So I had gone exploring and came upon this dungeon, which luckily was somehow abandoned. I'm not really sure what happened here. But after doing a bit of searching and blocking the entrances to ensure my safety, I was able to loot the chest, which luckily had a lot of cooked end fish, meaning I was not going to die in the first 10 days. What a relief. Along with the food, I found tons of diamond armor, which was crazy because I had a lot of crazy enchants that I may or may not have searched because I don't know any of the enchants. But anyways, I continued searching and found another dungeon room which actually had a full set of diamond armor along with gold, iron, and even a sword. Exploring went pretty well. I also found an eternal portal, but you know, these things weren't really filled, so I couldn't really do anything. Finally, I decided it was time to settle down and start building my home. I could not spend another day outside homeless. The end was way too scary for that. I decided to grind some trees, then build this archer tower looking build when all of a sudden...
Congratulations, you've survived 10 days. You are worthy of this land. Let's try something new. You are now able to visit the outworld. Beware, this land is a bit more troublesome. If you wish to continue, go on, giant.
Giant? Do I have giant powers now? I don't know what that means, but okay, where do we get started? Now that it was day 11, I had to get used to the overworld. I found this castle which was riddled with pillagers. After finally killing all the pillagers after like a few minutes, I explored the castle only to find out that it didn't really contain much. But nonetheless, I was going to use this as a resting base because it finally wasn't infested with horrible creatures. I did end up finding some enchanted books, but nothing really too crazy. Finally, the next morning, I decided to go out again and I was attacked by this centaur looking creature. Not sure if that's the actual name, let me know down in the comments. I decided to take a look near land that was around the castle and just to find another one, except this one got a chance to actually hit me and it made me go flying. I am so glad I wasn't near that huge hole in the ground. That would have definitely killed me. Finally, I was able to kill it and I realized that it had actually stolen my chest plate. Stupid centaur. I went to loot the buildings that they were surrounding and I actually found a golden apple, so that was good. While searching, I found this war death site which was riddled with arrows and some loot which you kind of guessed it just contained bows and arrows. Yeah, let's get out of here actually. But then we found a ruined portal. Okay, so ruined portals are actually a huge deal in mod packs because they contain a ton, and I mean a ton of modded loot. Like just here, I was able to find a corrupted beacon and I also found some like armors and stuff like that, but none of that was actually really good. I did take the crossbow though because I didn't really have one and I was like, hey, you know, might as well take it. And it actually came to use because I later found a pillager camp, which was actually really easy to take out considering I just bowed them all. Look, I don't care what you say. I'm scared of pillagers, whether they're modded or not. I'm physically not fighting them. Something I did not mention is that in this mod pack, you have to gain the trust of villagers. And in order to do that, you actually have to kill a lot of pillagers. And I mean a lot. Which is why in this next clip, once I kill a pillager, you see the text saying guards will now be neutral to you. Villages have guards which can actually kill you if you enter. So now we can actually enter without being killed. I also found one of these huge water snakes, which, I mean, okay, look, I'm extremely scared to fight basically anything in this mod pack because it can all just kill me. So look, I'm definitely not gonna die in the first like 20 days, okay? I felt like I was gonna get lost, so I decided to go back to the castle and I found this army camp which was littered with like a ton of food and wool, which was actually really useful because I was running extremely low on food. And the biome I was in wasn't exactly the most healthiest. I decided to end the day off with just exploring the huge mine, which was actually kind of crazy. This place was huge. And did I mention that like anything in this mod pack can kill you? Because I went near a chest and it became alive. Okay, you know how scary that is? When I tell you that my heart jumped out of my chest so fast, I am not joking. Now sadly, this thing died by falling into the lava and I couldn't kill it because I would have gotten like some type of artifact which could have helped me a lot, but you know, let it be stubborn. But it was all worth it because next I found an actual chest which this time had a death cap mushroom which gives a lot of speed and attack, so it was basically worth it. I saw something in my minimap though, so I decided to dig to it. It turns out that it was another dungeon. This one was like a nether type dungeon for some reason. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, but I mean, to be honest, nothing in this mod pack makes sense, so we're good. This place was full of creeper spawners, so I thought it was best to just try to get out as soon as possible. I couldn't even find a chest. Luckily, I was able to make it out and I found this hidden house in the woods. And the good thing was that there was a waystone there, so I couldn't actually get lost. I could just teleport back home. As I entered the house, it all seemed normal until I saw a dwarf. This thing scared the life out of me because I thought I was alone in the house and this thing was just completely short. Okay, wait a sec. Okay, that sounds mean. No. But the good news is that it wasn't hostile, meaning I couldn't die from it. Finally, something that isn't gonna kill me. The house didn't have much, so I decided to continue being nosy until I found a castle. Well, okay, this isn't really much of a castle, but it had a spawner inside which didn't spawn anything, which was really good because on top of the castle, there was a lot of golden blocks, which I quickly took. I had realized that the woods were full of surprises, so I decided to keep exploring till I found this weird temple castle type build. I wasn't really too sure what it was, but I rode up the stairs and I found a chest that was actually full of tons of modded loot, like an awful gun, a raid treasure bag, and even a backpack. Now we basically have double of our inventory space. But those are just some of the items that we found. I made my way home and decided to try the awful gun, which actually turns out that it's basically just a ghast in a gun. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I decided to use the diamond blocks that I had collected in the castle temple thing to make some diamond boots since mine had previously broken fighting the pillagers, and thought it was finally time to go to the Nether.
Wow, you did well through the overworld. Now let's try something a bit more lava-like. To the Nether, Blazeborn.
Wait, Blazeborn? Okay, I'm guessing I have Blazeborn powers, but I don't really know what that means. I had figured that Blazeborn had something to do with fire resistance, and I was right. Turns out I don't take any fire damage. So with these new powers I unlocked, it was finally time to explore the Nether. While exploring, I killed this demon creature looking thing, I'm not really sure what it was, and went onto land just to find like a lava dragon? Lava snake? I don't know. I'm not really sure what this is. I then saw a ton of entities in a corner, so I decided to dig to it and found a small little dungeon. While fighting the shredders, I ended up unlocking a skill, although I'm not really sure what the skill is because it didn't really say anything, so that was kind of weird. The chest was actually full of good loot, but what really stood out to me was a sword that was called the Broadsword, which did 13 damage, but I was not able to use it since I did not have combat 3. I continued making my way through the scarce lands of the Nether when I was ambushed by a Wither Archer, which was basically camouflaged, yet was no match for me. But suddenly, as I was fighting like this random creature, I looked back and saw this huge mutant hoglin. This thing was huge. I tried bowing it, but it was doing no damage. Finally, I decided to dig into a tunnel and slowly try to kill it again, but it was doing a ton of damage. How much range did this guy have? I ate a golden apple and tried going once again, but nothing was doing damage. Once again, I caught back in. I ate my final golden apple, and as I was forced to leave because I was left on 1 heart. Once I got out, I climbed onto a tree and found the mutant hoglin once again, but this time I was able to take it down with just a few bow shots. As I went exploring again, I found a piglin tower, which I easily made my way through, which the only thing that I could really use from this was a frost chestplate, which I found out gives freezing resistance, which I'm not really sure when this would actually come in handy, but it, better safe than never. And then I came across a piglin hole. Yeah, I'm not really sure what this is, but it had a ton of piglin brutes, and I'm pretty sure these guys were enchanted or something because they were jumping extremely high. Yeah, there's no way I'm going down there. After a long time of trying to kill the piglins, I was finally able to destroy the spawners and loot everything, and there was a ton, and I mean a ton, of golden blocks. This was gonna come in handy at some point, but there was way too many. I'd fallen into this random nether dungeon, which scared the life out of me as I was nearly consumed by whatever this creature was. I got close to these statue looking things and they turned into hostile mobs, but luckily they were weak, so I was actually able to take them out. While I was killing one of the statue mobs, I actually unlocked the skill to destroy dungeon spawners, which is huge, because from now on I don't have to wait to kill a certain amount of mobs for the spawner to destroy themselves. I can actually just destroy it myself. While I was making my way back to the portal, I came across this weird structure which I thought was just a pole, but turns out that it's actually a nether ship. How many of these am I gonna find? Which means there was good loot ahead. I found a lot of golden blocks along with bone blocks, which would come in handy later if I ever wanted to build farms and such. I decided to take a different route and find a hidden city which is full of riches, but the most important thing is that there was a waystone, and waystones can get me home and back and forth, so now I could just teleport to that hidden city whenever I wanted to. This was the actual gold mine. On my way to the hidden city, I found even more devilish looking creatures, but I quickly took them out. There was also a lot of weird statues, but luckily these didn't turn into mobs. Good, I could not handle that anymore. Finally, we made it back home, and I thought it was finally time to worry a little bit about enchants. So I started mining, hoping that I could find enough iron so that I could make an anvil, which luckily we lived right next to a literal crater of a mine, so that's good. I found the iron pretty easily, but smelting it took a literal day, and on my way back I encountered a ton of pillagers along with whatever these creatures are called, until finally I was able to make my way back to the base safely and finished making my anvil. Now it was just time to find a village, as I could not have enough time nor XP to get these enchant books. Finding a village took a couple of days, but was extremely worth it. I set up my base in one of these random village houses and started enchanting my crossbow, since I had like nearly 50 of them, but even then I wasn't really able to enchant my crossbow that much since I didn't have that much XP. So I decided to go back to the end where I was originally able to get a lot of the XP, and also the same place where I got a lot of my enchantments. And this was totally worth it, as I found an end ship which was full of phantoms and endermites which were easily killable and had loot for centuries, full of diamond and iron armor along with crossbows and overall just enchanted items, and even just regular enchanted books which would come in handy a ton. Right next to the end ship there was a huge phantom structure which was full of phantoms, but yet none of them were hostile for some reason, which didn't really make any sense, but okay. I had a cooldown 3 book which could go on any armor piece, which helps a lot of artifacts. Then I made made my way to another end island and came across an abandoned archer tower, which, as you might have guessed, did not really contain much loot. I did nearly die to this enderman looking creature, which, man, I hate these things so much. It's like the 50th time that this happens. As I was making my way back home, I encountered a very dangerous part of the island, which had the worst of the worst end creatures. But luckily, I was able to find a waystone and teleported to a random place. And wait, I've never been here before. Did I just unlock this? It seems like I'm extremely far from any end islands, so that's actually good. I made my way up to the watchtower and found a bow and a bit of arrow, but the loot really didn't matter at all. All that matters is that I was finally safe and could return home without dying. When I made my way home, I started mining down and I found a dungeon. And hold on, what? Okay, that is not a regular zombie. Okay, that is a mutant zombie. I had dug to a chest, and once I opened it, I found a Titanium chestplate, and this thing is better than a diamond chestplate. I'm definitely taking this. I killed the zombie super easily and continued looting the chest, and this is where I found the Ancestor, which is a sword that did 18 hearts of damage. This is basically enough to kill any mob in just a few shots. How was I able to find this? I finally made my way out feeling as powerful as I did, but I did not want to use the Ancestor just yet. I needed to get it enchanted before anything, so I spent a bit more time down in the dungeons just grinding a few mobs for XP before making my way up to continue exploring. By daytime, I had gotten the powers of a magician, which allowed me to basically be invincible to hostile mobs, just in the perfect time as I came across a pillager camp. I never even knew these things existed. I entered and was instantly bombarded by a ton of pillagers and whatever these bull things are. I even killed one of those guys that give the totem of undyings, which would come in handy when we receive our next power up. I found a few XP bottles, and I even found a dead dragon, which scared me a ton because I didn't see it at first. I looted the dragon, and hold on, what? This means we not only have an OP sword, but we also have insane armor. We are going to become invincible. I kept killing the pillagers, but that kind of got boring after like the 200th pillager or so, until I looked around even more and found Atlantis. No, I'm joking. I did find an underwater dungeon though, which had these scary looking hostile creatures, and I had no trouble killing the first one, but the second one, yeah, I'm not going down there. I kept looting places, but at this point I really only collected bows because they had special powers, and unlike everything, you know, you could basically use them in any type of way. I also killed a water snake, or okay, look, I know that's not the name, but it's like, you know, they're huge, they're blue, and I don't know when you've ever seen a blue snake, but you know, oh well, look, it looks like a snake. Finally, I came across one of these houses again, and I was actually able to trade with the villager. It gave me like this flint and steel looking thing, which when I used it in the portal, created a portal to whatever this dimension is. And look, okay, remember that I mentioned that I'm extremely new to this mod pack and that I was basically invincible because I had magician powers? When I entered this dimension, I was able to get hurt, and that scared me so much more than you guys think. So I decided to just quickly get out of this dimension. I was not about to die. I continued my way on exploring until I made my way over this cliff where I found this village, but I also found this huge structure that I actually never saw before. As I got closer and entered the house, I realized that this was actually like an enchanting structure. There was a librarian, but it didn't really offer anything special, and then there was a spawner, but luckily this time I was actually able to break the spawner myself. But then right behind the spawner there was a chest which actually contained a sharpness 5 buck, an enchanted golden apple, and even a protection 4 buck. I basically just got rich off of one structure. This is amazing. Now we could go home and actually enchant. When we got back home, it was finally time to actually start organizing everything. I tried crafting dragon armor, which I was super hyped about, but turns out that we can't actually wear this armor because we don't have endurance 3. That kind of sucks. I wonder if we're still going to be able to beat Matthias. We finally started enchanting items after a while, starting off with the Ancestor. We put sharpness 5 and then decided to repair a bit of our armor because it was diamond armor and we did have a bit of diamonds back. I also traded with some villagers for some XP and then continued enchanting my items. I combined a few books and continued enchanting the Ancestor. This thing was actually going to be insane. Finally, after everything was done, it was finally time to go find Matthias. He cannot rule this land once again. While on my way to find him, I came across a ton of these like hellhound looking type dogs in a desert biome. I don't know where these guys came from, but these guys had like superpowers. I tried running away and managed to get into this one house, but they even got through that. Luckily, I was actually able to kill them all. Then I saw him, Matthias, Finally, it was time to fight. I approached him and got one shot off until it finally sent its dogs after me once again. I tried taking them out, but they were just way too fast. It also spawned these zombie ghoul looking type creatures which I couldn't even hit. And then it decided to put me in a trance where I was not able to move at all. This is so bad. I needed to stay off a bit so that I could regen. By the time he was almost dead, he had almost just killed me. He even popped my totem and even some of my armor. This is so unlucky. Until finally, before wasting my last totem, I was able to take him out. Matthias no longer owns this land.